This is called n8n. It is a, what do they call it? Node-based workflow automation tool. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I came across their Docker Compose setup, which I've modified it a little bit for myself. I'm just going to kind of gloss over it in this particular video, just because I've been working on it a lot and just kind of want to debrief a little bit for myself later. We have several things starting up in here. So let's go over here. You can kind of see your Docker Compose. Let us be, or Docker. We have n8n. There's a couple of containers that are used in the early startup of the Docker Compose up. This one will pull your models, and I'm not really sure about this one. It comes alive and goes away. Then you have Postgres, Quadrant, and Ollama. I was running Ollama locally. You can just install it. It's really easy. You can run it and you start interacting with models locally. I think Ollama is a wrapper to Llama CPP. Could be wrong on that, but it just makes it really easy to run it locally. And Docker Compose gives you the ability to run all these stacks together. Okay, so I added Open WebUI to that. I'll show that in a second as well. It's quite nice. Kind of like a GPT style front end for Ollama in this case. So let's pop open. Well, we'll look at this real quick. So a lot of these tools and stuff that I'm looking at, you can point them to your local instance of Ollama in this case. So I was looking at Continue, which is kind of like a code generation and suggestion tool. I've tied it up. Let's see here. If we open up, I tested it on a little Rust app. It's kind of nice. Works great. For this one, which is the self-hosted AI starter kit, I asked it to just tag the file and I say, I didn't say hey. I said add an Nginx service to this, and it did quite well. It doesn't show you the full context, so I guess you can just copy that and paste it out. But it's pretty cool. I am using Kojima, I think. Yeah, Kojima, which it's kind of easy depending on how you want to manage your models. Let's pull open this. Actually, I have a better. What's the WebUI? Is it 3000? It is. It's 3000. Let's pull it over here. Okay, so in my particular case here, I'm going to open up the side panel. As you can tell right now, if I click here, you're going to see a whole bunch of, we've got star coder, which is tab completion. I got led into that one installing Continue in VS Code. They tell you about star coder. So I started digging around some other models. I ended up going with Kojima over, I think there's Llama, there's Kojima, and I think Azure has one out there as well. So Kojima being Google's, and then Facebook's being Llama's, Llama. The embed text for that, so that's for like context. If you look at workflows like this, so this was the first workflow I was messing around with in n8n. Basically, just taking it as what do you call it? Just something to review. What I ended up doing is, because I didn't want to hook it up to my Google Drive, I created a different one. Is it this one? Took me a while to figure all this out, but with Docker Compose, you can mount your. So this one's not updated either. So that was my workflow. What about demo workflow? Local PDF process. Yeah. So what I wanted to do was throw PDFs in a directory, have the the text engine, what do they call it? So this has to do with RAG retrieval. So you're talking about retrieval augmented generation. So it's going to feed the context of your PDFs to the answer, from the way I understand it, to the answer that a larger LLM model will give you. So if I were to, I would feed it like, my resume, and then I could say, what was the last place I worked? Well, it would use some context from the larger LLM, like the 3.18 billion parameter, which I think I have the 7, the 8, on a 3.23 billion does a pretty good job with kind of, I think it is supposed to be on par with the 8 billion. I really couldn't, I haven't used them enough to sit here and say what's the main difference between them. I think, I don't really know the main difference between those. And the most I've used them for so far is helping me craft either better prompts for ChatGPT, or I've been using a tool called Meshy.AI where you can generate 3D models. I'm fine-tuning my prompts using my local LLMs before I ask the the other like Meshy.AI, which is a pretty cool tool. Let me see if I can. I'll open up Meshy. It's quite interesting with Meshy.AI. I'm not going to go into this in depth at all, but I'm able to. You can generate. So where's my assets? I've taken these and dropped them directly in a game engine, and then I start running around. So this is Unity URP. Just drop them in, get them converted. I took both of these and gave them a skeleton and rigged them up and had them walking around, use them as a player character very quickly in Unity, which is a lot of fun. And this is just like a fire staff that I've made. Anyway, I've been fine-tuning models, my prompts for stuff like that. I haven't been able to test out Meshy as much as I'd like to, but neither do I have as much money as I would like to buy the credits that it's going to take to do what I would like to do with it. Anyway, enough about what I like. Getting over here, so I ended up making this where if you look at, I think if you click on one of these, so you put up local file triggers so this n8n has these triggers set up where if I do it watches, so I'm mounting this, so this is a local folder on my computer. I'm mounting that via the Docker Compose, which if we look at this file, you should see it. Go away here. Right here. So shared PDFs, and that is, where is it? Shared PDFs. So right there, and I'm sharing that with the n8n service that we've got here. So anyway, it watches for me to just drop a PDF in there, and what I was, testing it like on my resume, and then it extrapolates the some context using the, what's that model called? Nomic embed text, and then I can ask it questions. And like I said, so that is a very simple way of talking about RAG retrieval. There's a lot more to it than that I need to understand probably before I can even talk about it coherently. Start babbling on. Anyway, so I get the file, and then what I'm end up doing is we store some of it in the quadrant vector database, and then when I ask a question on it, so that's this part up here. So there's multiple parts to it. I don't know why this keeps jumping around on me like that. I'm not doing that on purpose. I'll just quit clicking. Anyway, so when you ask a chat, which is so this one here, Go back. Double click on that. So in this case, I could ask it something about my PDF, and it would tell me. And the only one I had in there recently was my resume, and then it would proceed to, as you can see, to combine the Ollama local model with the information stored in the vector database. Anyway, I'm still learning about that, and when I understand it better, I will do another video on it. So I'm going to switch back over to, so let's go here. This kind of, Docker containers running things, like this is a lot more where I fit in. So I'll talk about this for a minute, and then I'll just probably leave it at that. So we'll collapse some of these. Not entirely sure what the Postgres is for. I think that is just for like chat history and whatnot. The n8n is the node-based workflow automation tool that you see there. So this is not limited to just what you see here. It can do a vast amount of things. I tested. You can, like in Discord, you can set up these webhooks for a channel, and then you can bring that. You can give that webhook to this. Let's say, just somewhere over here. You can say, hey, I wouldn't do that on everything here because I already did. And what it'll do is it'll spam your chat. You don't want to do that here. You actually want to do it at the completion of your thing. Well, what it'll do is start when a webhook is called, returns data for a webhook. I can't remember which one it is. Regardless, I won't get into it too deep. It will post a message. You can have it post a message to your Discord. You can have it watch websites. It's a pretty cool tool, and I definitely want to dig into it more right after I get done playing Steam. Just kidding. I'll finish this video first. So I think that's about all I want to kind of. It's a very big gloss over. Like I said, you can start this particular Docker stack compose with a GPU support as well, and obviously CPU as well. But it does perform better with my GPU, obviously. Now I'll say the code generation stuff is still slow. Like I do not, running this on a Surface Pro with a 4 gig GPU, it's not fast by any means. It's free, and it's a ton of fun to dig around, and especially when you start talking about RAG retrieval, which is being able to keep the data on my own system and work on it and look at it and ask an AI about my own data without it ever leaving. That's pretty interesting. All right, folks, that's all I've got for today. I appreciate you watching, and if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care. Bye.